I think that we have a proclamation, but before I actually get into that, um, I want to go ahead and state that we now have Dan Bates, who is our new Director of Emergency Management, and he has a presentation. I do believe you have a few slides, Dan?
Yes, sir, I do. Good morning,
Okay,
Chair,
please.
Supervisors, Mr. Van Wagenen, Mr. Tran. Dan Bates, Director of Emergency Management. We do have a brief presentation, actually, for National Preparedness Month. So September is National Preparedness Month. It's our annual reminder that disasters can happen anywhere and at any time. And this year's theme, we're really going to focus on resilience within the home, and that can all be started with 4 simple steps: having a plan, having a kit, getting informed, and staying involved. All right, so Riverside County, whether it's a storm, whether it's a flood, whether it's a wildfire, or a prolonged power outage, Riverside County has a long history of emergencies and disasters. And so by looking at this, each one of these events has given us the opportunity to learn from our events and improve our emergency response and our plans. All right, so getting the right information. So this goes back to understanding official sources of information are your best sources of information. And one of the simplest steps that we can do to be informed and well in the know is to sign up for Alert RivCo. So you can go to our website at www.rivcoready.com/Alert RivCo and sign up for those notifications. And also download the Genesis Protect app. That is a visual depiction on a map that you can identify if your home or an area where you might be traveling to is going to be impacted. We also want to give credit to other official sources of information within the county and really emphasizing our public safety partners. So in addition to following at RivCo Ready, we also want to advise to follow CAL FIRE RRU and our partners at the Sheriff's Department at RSO as well. So preparedness equals resilience. And while a lot of individuals may feel that they are not prepared, they actually have the majority of these items at their home. So starting simple by having a plan, knowing where to go, who to call, and what to take. So your kit starts out small. Grab a backpack, grab some water, medications, and think of some of those unique needs that you may have within your home. So young children, older adults, even your pets. If you have an electric vehicle, make sure that your vehicle is charged. So charging stations may be impacted. So if you did have to evacuate your home, you at least have the means of transportation. Staying informed, that really goes back to signing up for those credible information sources. So Alert RivCo, that is going to be your trusted source of information from the Emergency Management Department in Riverside County. And getting involved, we do have lots of opportunities for volunteer opportunities. So if you go to our website, we actually have getting involved, and where you can actually volunteer for community emergency response team training. We do bring those to each one of our local jurisdictions and really trying to get community members involved, because that really strengthens our resilience as a community and also taking care of our homes as well. And again, getting involved in just following our information for additional information at rivcoready.org. And that is what we have, Chair, for our brief presentation.
Well, thank you. Before I ask my colleagues to go up and present the proclamation, I think I see Supervisor Spiegel.
One note, you talked about making sure our electric vehicles are charged. I used to have a very bad habit. I'd get home on fumes, too tired to stop and get gas for the next morning. Then I learned you always leave a minimum of a quarter of a tank when you come into the driveway at home at night, because you never know what's going to happen. So gas vehicles are just as important to keep ready to go.
Absolutely. Gas vehicles are just as important, and especially as a father now with 2 young drivers in the house, I'm constantly reminding them, you know, I'm going with a half a tank for them, just as a reminder, just because by the time I find out there, it's 10 miles left of the tank. So it is very important, but I think the highlight of the emergency vehicle is really how there's a shift in with technology and other advancements. And so electric vehicles was not something that we previously were as concerned about, but now it is something that is absolutely something that we want to make sure that people are ready for. And again, you know, those other people with concerns within the household, medications, that's something that is a very common one that people often forget. It's just important documentations, copies of social security cards, your driver's license, birth certificates, knowing where those critical information is so you can have that in your kit so you're ready to go.
Thank you. And as well, let me just bring up a couple of points here. You know, back in the desert in the 4th District, we've had some major storms. And obviously they've had a major impact, but I appreciate the fact that our county team as a whole mobilized to take care of our folks back home as well. Not only the emergency management team, but I'm talking about social services, animal services, our sheriff, firefighters, you name it. The list goes on and on and on. And that's important, that coordination, in order for us to do what we can, ensure that ultimately folks are safe. And as well, you know, we've had some major dust storms back home, to the point where there's been times when you can't even see 5 to 10 feet in front of you, depending on where you're driving. And so I'd like to state out loud that we've been working on putting together a dust summit in which Air Quality Management District, South Coast, as well as others, potentially EPA, obviously CVAG and folks back home are going to be part of to discuss, you know, what can be done when it comes to the dust concerns, when not only how it impacts the economy, but really how it impacts our public health. And that's going to be on November 6th. And so just a heads up for those that are watching or those that are here. And then as well, finally, you know, we recently had a fire up in Pine Cove area. And, you know, we received quite a bit of phone calls as to concerns about what's going on. And I had a chance to go with staff, with Grace Gardner, who's on my staff, and we went up there to discuss the fire that took place with our firefighters and members of the community. And the number one issue that came up, and everyone was in agreement, was communication. That we need to communicate on an ongoing basis and let the public know what's going on. Even if it's bad news, they need to know, they want to know. And so we made a commitment to that, as well as put together a plan of action whenever there are emergencies, so we can try to tackle the concerns, the issues when we have a fire, just like the plan of action that we put together out in the North Shore, Mecca area, for the floods that take place out there. So with that being said, if I can ask my colleagues to come on up to the front so we can present this proclamation. I said my piece, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not sure if Karen, you want to add anything? Supervisor?
I'll pass.
Okay. Okay, I guess everyone's passing today. Well, Dan, thank you so much for the work. I don't know if you want to say anything else?
So just want to really highlight what the supervisor mentioned. Riverside County, we are one team, one fight, all hazards. And when we really emphasize on the county departments and our ability to respond and recover from emergencies and disasters in Riverside County would not be possible without the support from the executive office, the board, and all of the county departments. So thank you to everybody.
Thank you. On behalf of the County Board of Supervisors, including Chuck Washington, who's not here with us today, I want to thank you. And here's a proclamation for the good work you're doing.
Thanks, sir.
Yeah, I want you to get down here. Round of applause one more time for Ian.